Throughout my life, I've always wondered about the right choice. What makes a decision right or wrong? What makes a choice well thought out or intentional? Looking up to my favorite artists and inspirations like Gary Vee and Drake, I saw an immense amount of purpose and wondered how I could create a sort of purpose within myself that connected with my decisions. Today, I brought my friend Steven on the podcast. I've known Steven closely for about a year, and we've made a lot of content together. He helped me with the promotion of my single Driving and filmed a lot of freestyles on my other channel. I chose Steven for this topic because I see him as someone who makes decisions purposefully in his life, and I wanted to pick his brain a little bit to find out the why. Who turned it back on? You didn't. Hello? You didn't? I didn't. Wow, I don't know how that happened. We're here. How you doing, man?
I'm doing okay.
And hold it close to you.
Yeah, I'm doing all right. Problems come, you tackle them.
Yeah.
You settle, dust settles, new one comes, you know. It's the daily, I hate to be like, oh, it's the daily grind. Everyone's got a daily grind, but like, you know, it's just life's moving.
I want to talk a little bit about ideas because, you know, you remind me of someone who speaks with a lot of intentionality when you talk. Like, you just seem very focused when you're doing things, when you're communicating with people. So I know that you really value it. It seems like you really value the intentionality of what you say. How do you know when an idea is a good idea in the most simple way? Because I know there's a lot of different. There's a ton of different things.
It's a big tree. At first you honestly don't know it's an idea. All you know it is an idea. You don't know if it's a good idea, and still you start throwing things at it. Anyone can be like, "Oh, I want to start a business," or "Oh, I want to like be an athlete," or "I want to be like," or you want to put something in perspective or do something, but you don't really know it's a good idea until you start throwing things at it. You start throwing problems. You start throwing things that it shouldn't be able to resist, and then it starts to resist things like LeBron James. Did his parents know that he was just gonna be an NBA superstar, one of the most successful basketball players, athletes alone of all time, biggest names, major philanthropist, multimillionaire, major brand. Sorry, I got distracted. But major brand. Connections, investor, whatever. No, like they just kind of, I'm not going to say like every kid is like a good idea or a bad idea, but like they just took their child and they let him do things. And, when he started getting good at something, they said, okay, well, maybe you can take another leg up. And that's everyone throughout history has taken one leg and one step at a time and taken one leg up. And until this limit starts pushing against them. And you know what? When the limit starts pushing, you know that you've got to change, or you've got to advance. You got to evolve per se to get past and do whatever that thing is, get to the next stage. And if you can do that, then why not shoot for the next stage and the next stage and the next stage? And then you become this like, people are like, oh, you're just the master at it. You're excellent at it. No, you might have an affinity for a skill, or someone might have an affinity for a skill, or a certain idea might be every idea is a good idea. No one ever had an idea because they thought it wasn't going to work. Like every idea is the center of fixing a problem or making something better. And you just want to make sure that idea can be as best as it can. Every business be as best as it can. Every person be as best as it can. You go to the gym, you see like a fucking 350 pounds and you want to deadlift it. That's your idea. But like, let's say you can't lift it. You got to start with 150. You got to start with 100, and you got to make your way up. You got to start pushing the limit and make it a good idea. Because, anyone can do nothing, but like everyone can do something too.
I like that. Anyone can do nothing, but everyone can do something. What would you say is the most important part of an idea or an action, in your opinion? Not in terms of necessarily what would win, but just what you think would stand the test of time and just be something important. If you could boil down an idea, like one thing about an idea out of all the variables, what do you think for you is the most important thing?
It's a proper and honest follow through. Like you like getting yourself, like I said earlier, put it through the ringer, but like properly attack an idea from an outside perspective and understand why like believe in your idea, but understand why it wouldn't work or what's working against it. Like I'll fall back on the LeBron James thing like again, but like what are the chances that one kid from Cleveland is just gonna take on this whole fucking industry and just absolutely become one of the biggest financial players in the United States, one of the biggest personalities in the United States. I mean, not the United States, but the world. He's an internationally known superstar. Just like what matters is you really have to attack your own ideas and really just make sure that they're as strong as they can, because like if you're just shooting in the dark, maybe even not just shooting in the dark, maybe if you're just kind of fooling around with the thought of someone, and you really, really want to have a solid understanding of whatever your idea or somebody else's idea is, you got to attack it from every and all angles and really, really understand the whole picture.
Yeah. I think that that whole attacking it from all angles can definitely help. And when you're saying that, like understanding the other side, understanding, why it wouldn't work, why all the opposing views. And I feel like that awareness, so you're saying that awareness, that self-awareness of everything is what's going to make ideas work.
You got to solidify. You got to go all the way into every one of those opposing views. You got to you got to beat the hell out of it. You really just got to absolutely drill into why something might not be so solid, or why it might be really, really solid, and what strengths your idea has or someone else's idea has. Yeah.
And like, it doesn't feel good to do that. Like, it doesn't feel good to, it shouldn't if you like it, right? If you have belief in it. But I feel like that's a great point, because at least with my personal experiences, like after I beat up an idea that I have, it doesn't mean that I necessarily quit it. And I could still continue doing a lot of things that may not work holistically for everyone, but now it's with more intention. I think that awareness that you're talking about can, at least in my experiences, led a lot to intention. So it's like, I'll do the same, like I'll record something a certain way. I'm like, okay, a lot of people are not going to like it that way. I had this song called Driving where I recorded it with my old microphone. It didn't sound as professional as the other recordings. And I was like, a lot of people are not going to like this idea. I understand that people can notice that. And I still chose to make the decision of keeping that recording because it resembled the vibe. A lot of people are not going to care. Some people will care. But I'm still, like, with this decision, I'm still keeping it how it is, but now I'm doing it with intention, because awareness of other sides can bring intention. Because sometimes, like, I think something's wrong and it's just wrong. Like, you have no excuse for it to be wrong. Like, then you could just fix it, right?
Right.
Like, you're just doing something wrong. But if there's a reason and you understand that it's not going to work in a certain area, someone's not going to like it, someone's going to get offended, this, and that, but you have a reason you're doing it, like an actual reason, then you can still make the same actions that you're doing before with the idea, but the intent of them are going to make them, is going to, in itself will plant the idea, I think, to last longer.
Yeah, no, I think you're totally right. Like, the more resistance, the more you might want to do it. Like it's up to anyone. I mean, I keep pointing out like big famous names, but like, how many times Elon Musk was told by the media or by just somebody randomly that this won't work, that won't work. He was down to some of his last dollars on that final SpaceX rocket that finally got got NASA's attention. It was like, okay, this could work. Here's a contract. You're in charge of now sending people. No, you're in charge of sending some satellites up, sending people to space. You have an idea how many people were just like, oh, that's ridiculous. That shouldn't work. Oh, you can't build an electric car. We've tried it already. It's whatever. And they built one, and they were like, okay, well, it's whatever. And then he built like 5 or 6 more. And now he's gonna. I can guarantee you, there's a file cabinet full of concepts sitting over at Tesla's headquarters, full of just ideas that shouldn't work or wouldn't work. And that's the whole idea of engineering, of course. And of course, we're dealing with a scientific company, tech company, but that's the whole idea, is to tackle more problems, make it bigger, make it better. Why shouldn't you? Like, what else do you have to do? Like, you might as well make something of the space and the time that you got,
That the interesting idea that you brought up, I keep saying the word idea, but this is about ideas. Yeah. So you were talking about how Elon Musk was told multiple times that this wasn't right, It shouldn't work. But let's just say if you never were that person in your head and you never heard that criticism, and then you heard it from someone else, like from the first time, maybe them saying, if Elon never heard a phrase that it would never work, and he heard it the first time from a critic, maybe that critic's wrong, maybe that critic's right. In this case, the critic was wrong, but he would attach more power to it because he never thought of that, right? Exactly. But if he understands and says, okay, he accepts, people are just not going to like this. People are not going to be cool with you acting this way. Not everyone, but a group of people will not like this. A group of people will view this a certain way. Then when it happens, it's like, oh, I already knew that. So I'm going to still go with my plan. That's expected. So understanding that awareness of the environment, being that inner critic, it really hurts at times, but at the same time, you can move more with intention. And when someone actually gives you criticism, you don't blindly listen to it, and you don't blindly push it out of the way. Right. Because you have a stronger inner compass of criticism. You know why you're doing it. You may do something that's not going to be the safest, not going to be the most practical, not going to be the most efficient. And as long as you know what you're doing, then if someone's like, oh, that's not the most efficient, I know, right? No,
that's the idea. Yeah. It's just, you're trying to get from point A to B, and you got to learn to anticipate some of the hurdles. You're not going to see everything. That's ridiculous. Don't you're not going to see the future, but you got to understand where the weak points are of anything and everything, and learn to face the opposition dead on. And if you can't face it dead on, just outmaneuver. Stop, take some time, Learn how to circumvent the issue and hit it from the different angle. Hit the angle from the different angle,
Yeah, I think it's just like being honest with yourself is going to help you not get navigated by the wrong criticism and the wrong situations, because you will criticize your stuff. I mean, everyone does. I think that's important, and it's not going to feel good. Like sometimes, like creating and doing what you want, you think it's going to feel good all the time, but it's definitely not. And I know you can definitely attest to that. The idea of like just being like doing what you want is not always pleasant.
No, nobody's gotten anywhere by doing exactly what they wanted all the time. I mean, and no one's gotten anywhere by doing exactly what they wanted half the time, or some people even 75, 80% of the time. For like, no one wants to get out of bed and go to school early in the morning, go to work early in the morning, feel like they're not getting paid enough. Nobody wanted to, but like by the end of the day, you just got to make sure that you made something of it. Because if you made your wage, if you did well in your class, you did okay in your class, you were better than you were in the morning. And when you didn't want to do anything, like, I mean, I don't remember what commercial it is. Probably some like insurance commercial, like on some insurance ad on like YouTube or whatever. But it's like it starts off as like the chances of of the Earth forming and your parents meeting and birthing you is like practically zero. I'm like, yeah, it's practically zero, but it still happened. So like, if something that really shouldn't have happened, I mean, and you're down to a 50-50, not 50-50 chance, but like you're down to a choice A, choice B, choice 1, choice 2 of what you want to do. I mean, you might as well do the thing that'll actually benefit you, because you already know what's going to happen if you just do nothing.
If you sit in your bed, you already know.
Exactly. And even if you don't know what's going to happen, you just know what's not going to happen. You know, you're not going to get somewhere out of it. Like you take a class that you never thought of before, that you never wanted to take, or you never thought you were interested. You're going to get something out of it. Even if you learn to hate it more, you learn to not be interested, you understand it better. You have more experience. Just spend your time wisely.
Spend your time wisely, do things with intention. And I think the way to get intention is to try and fail and learn and understand your relationship with things. You're not going to just get intention by imagining it, because you don't know your relationship with things. And that's what I'm trying to like learn as like an artist. The more I go, like, I tried and failed a million times just for me to understand my purpose. And every time you try and fail, it just tells you more about your purpose and what you truly want. And those are not wastes of time. They just help you find your intention, and then you can be more intentional over time. So it's like that's how you kind of build it, I think. Or at least that's how I built it from my experience. It doesn't just happen like this, but you gain more purpose as you start living life and doing these things and trying and experiencing emotions with them. And with certain actions, you just start realizing, okay, I may do this thing that's not going to be the greatest, but I understand that. It's not going to be the most appealing in X way or Y way, but I'm going to take that risk because I understand that I love it enough. And if I never try things, then I'm just going to be driven by fear, and I won't even be able to find that love that comes with the intentionality. The intentionality of, I love these rockets, so I'm going to do it. I love what this could be. And when you start trying, you start building relationships and loving things, not loving things, but it comes at the end of the day with that intention, which is the most beautiful thing, that purpose.
Yeah, I mean, like you asked me in the beginning, like what makes an idea good. That's what makes an idea good. You see what it could be. You see maybe what you want it to be, maybe what you don't want it to be, but you see what it's something could be, what something could become with time, with effort, with interest, with experience, circumventing those attack angles. You know, that's what makes a good idea, is getting yourself. Getting going forward, making sure something goes forward.
Wise words from my friend Steven. Just keep going forward. I hope you enjoyed this episode and it provided you with some sort of value. If you want to know my perspective on greatness and motivation, make sure to click this video over here. You've been watching for long enough, so I'm literally just gonna watch you. I'm gonna sit here and just watch you. Tables turn. You didn't expect that, huh? I'm just gonna watch you until you click that video. I don't even. Right there, maybe. Yeah. Okay, I'm tired now, but yeah, you get the point.